Hello and welcome to Shoeman's Modelings, and today we're going to work on part 2 of the NX-01 350 scale Enterprise. And what we're going to work on today is the photo etch. I'm going to work on getting the photo etch prepped, and then we've got to paint it to hold the decals, and we'll get that done. And then also the parts on the ship itself need to be modified for some of the photo etch that's going on. So what we're doing first is we're going to be using the Tamiya metal primer for this part, and this is really good stuff. I don't know if there's any other metal primer out there, so this is what I use. Like I said, it works well, and we'll be spraying that on first and letting that dry, so we'll do that right now. Oops. So I've got that on there. What I'm going to do is go ahead and use a heat gun to kind of help dry it a little faster so we can get on to painting it. On HDA Model Works is where I got the decals that are going to go on top of this. Jerry's recommending that you lay down a coat of white paint, and that should do two things. Number one, help the decals stick. I've done decals before with metal, and I've always seemed to have problems with them where they would just kind of peel off when you were working with the photo etch. So on his recommendation is to lay down a coat of white paint on these, and then I'm going to put on a coat of the future floor wax as a gloss coat so that they'll have something smooth to lay onto like we do normal decals. So we're going to go ahead and get this nice and dry so we can apply the white paint to the decals, and I will show you that in a minute. Okay, so the paint's dried now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a coat of a gloss coat. So I'm using this Pledge floor wax. I just heard today they changed the name again to, it's still Pledge, but it's Pledge something else. But it's the same stuff, and I mainly only use that for two things, and that is I dip all my clear parts in that so that they get a nice coating on them and they stay nice and clear, and they also don't get scratched, and if they do get a little scratch, you can just redo the Pledge. And also I spray it on to get a gloss coat for decals. The other day there was a discussion on one of the on a Facebook page about using it for cars and to make cars glossy. And I don't know if that's the best idea because this is floor wax. And I think after a while it might start to yellow because it's not meant to be permanent. It's meant to kind of be put on there and rubbed off. Well, if I put decals on here, usually if I use it to put on decals and weathering, I will always spray over that with a flat coat, or I would use something that's built to last a long time. But otherwise it's just used for decals. And a nice thing is you can spray it. I just pour it right in my brush. It's thin enough to spray, and it does a nice coat. You just want a nice even coat on it, and it will self-level it out. And it works really great for decals. I'm just going to spray this right now. And that's really all it takes is just a quick spray. And then we'll go ahead and let that dry. The Future cleans up with just water. I tend to always use Windex for that. But that's all there is to it. Next, once it's dry, we'll go ahead and apply the decals. Now everything is dried, and now we're ready to apply the decals. So the decals go on just like any other decal, so I'm not going to spend much time going over how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get on that, and we'll see what it looks like in a bit. Well, the decals have been applied, and they went on really well. And I let them dry for about 24 hours. Then I went ahead and I did spray some Testors decal bonder on there to get them to set really well. And these really look great. I'm really happy how they turned out. And I can't imagine trying to paint these and get the same result. So I recommend if you're going to use this set to go ahead and get these graphics, get the decals. So I started applying the PE to the exterior. Not much on the exterior other than some window coverings and airlocks. I did make some modifications to any place there were some windows. I just cut those out, and then I'll apply some stuff to make those more translucent so the light will shine through. But like I said, just not a lot on the exterior. The airlocks look good, and I think it's going to enhance the model, but just not a whole lot on the exterior. I've started working on the interior photo etch, and there are two interior photo etched on this. There's the shuttle bay and a cargo hold. And this is the shuttle bay. It went together really nicely. I think it looks really good. And those decals really did help a lot. So again, I recommend getting those if you're going to do the photo etch. This one in the lower section of the saucer. And you do have to make some modifications to that, but I think it'll look good once it's in. And this is the cargo hold. And same thing, you need to do some modifications to the hull. You could put it in the upper or the lower hull. And again, those decals really make it pop. You can see where it says NX-01 on there, and it's going to look really good. I'm putting it in the upper hull, so I think it's really going to help with the model and make it look good.